Good morning, everybody. This is Jerry Price. I am the project coordinator for the H.I.R.E.D program, which of course is the career coaching program that you are a part of. This morning, we are going to change things up just a little bit. I really appreciate the feedback that we got from students on our speakers. So we have chosen to do that a slightly different way today. What we're going to do is I recorded this week's session with Coca-Cola. And that way, if it pertains to your future career options, then you can most certainly watch that with your career coach when we get finished. But if it doesn't pertain to you, then you don't have to watch it. And that way you get a little bit of choice in that. I will say this, it was a really great interview. It's short, it doesn't take a lot of time. And I would really encourage everybody to watch it because Coke pays really well, and they pay for 2 weeks of a ride along before you ever start school. Then they'll pay for school. And then they pay, I think they start out at 27 something per hour as a driver. And so during the summer, they hire lots of people. And so I want you to watch that if you have time. But it was actually a really good interview. All right. So basically, we're going to jump right into what we need to do today. And so I'm going to need you guys to take out your phones and do a little bit of help with us or for us. So what we've got is our agenda today. We're just going to talk a little bit about the NWTI program. Don't scan yet. We're going to talk a little bit about DOT physicals because I think I forgot to do that last week. And then I'm going to show you the link for the manual again, which you should be able to get to. And then we're going to start our practice. So we just have a couple of little kind of things to clean up, and then we'll get right into the practice. A couple of things about the NWTI program, and to be completely honest, I was not aware of this until last week, or maybe the Friday before that. But you have to get hired for that grant to pay for your truck driving school there. And so I have a request in. I've asked the question of Dr. Joe Rollins, who is over the grant, if going to school to be a lineman would count in place of being hired. And then, so we're working on that. So what I'm saying is, if you have not gotten your packet, we may want to hold just a little bit. And the reason for that is that the packet is good for a set amount of time. I want to say it's a year that you can go get this done. So if you were going to lineman school, that is a part of that education coursework. Now, you're a lot better off to have it before you go, and it saves you money. So if we can get it paid for, we're absolutely going to do that. But we also want to make sure that we are leveraging the amount of time you have on that packet. And we want to get a little bit closer to when you're going to take your test to actually pick that up. So we can kind of hold on that just a little bit. If you've already got it, it's not a big deal. It's not much time difference. And if you plan to go to school and get hired as a driver, go ahead and get it because we're going to be working on that with you and helping you get that employment part. You can go ahead and scan this code with your phones, please. This is a Google form. And the purpose of this Google form is just to tell us if we need to help you start looking for a job, and if your career coach needs to be doing some one-on-one sessions with you to kind of help you figure out, like, if we're working on that so that you can go ahead and get enrolled in school, and we know you're going to have a job waiting for you whenever you get out. And then that covers the cost of your education. Everybody should know by now, based on our conversation last week, that it does. Every job that you get, if they pay for your education, like Coke might do or SMG might do, they do require generally a 2-year commitment from you. That's why we really want to get it paid for you. But all you have to do is get hired to get that paid for. And then that way you don't have to have that 2-year commitment. But if you'll scan that, and we're going to give a couple of minutes, if you guys will just put in the chat when everybody in your small group is finished with the information on that form. And that would be helpful to me. It will just take you a couple of minutes. It's very short. So we're waiting on you guys to let us know that you are finished with that form. If you happen to be watching this as a recording, feel free to fast forward until you see me start talking about the DOT physicals. While you guys are filling that out, I will let you know that I did source a person that is going to talk about being a lineman for you guys. And so I will have a recording for you. Sorry, I'll have a recording for you with someone that does work with linemen. And so I do have that available. I'm recording that early next week, and I'll have that for you probably by Wednesday of next week. So be talking to your coach about that option as well. Trying to get a little something for everybody. All right, Huntsville is finished. So I'm assuming, Amanda, that your crew is just almost finished. So I'm going to go ahead and move on, just finish up if for some reason you are not quite finished. So let's talk a little bit about DOT physicals. I do want to remind you of a couple of things. If you need help getting your packet, maybe things are running a little short in your family right now. You have certain circumstances that means you don't have the $50 for the packet or the DOT physical. We have some scholarship money for either or of those. So if you need, your family needs help with that, just reach out to your coach and we will make that happen. So we want to make sure that you have what you need to move through this program seamlessly. And DOT physicals, as a reminder, you're required to have the DOT physical before you take your written exam, and you have to take the paperwork from the physical with you when you go. Another reminder is if you cannot lay hands on an original copy of your birth certificate, you can go to any health department if you were born in Arkansas and get one of those for like 12, 13 bucks. Pretty small amount of money to get a copy that works for this. So you have to have your, not only do you have to have your social security card, you have to have your birth certificate, and then you have to have your DOT physical paperwork along with your regular driver's license with you whenever, whenever you go to take your test. And you'll need actually the packet when you sign up for taking the test. And so we'll help you with that. If you need help with it later, your coaches can help you. So a couple of places that you can get your DOT physicals are, one is in Fayetteville, and it's a place called Post DOT Physicals. That's the name of the company. So I guess that's all they do. And then we have that one in Fayetteville. It costs $80, and you can do that by walk-in. You can just walk in and they'll just fit you in, you know, from anytime from 8 to 4. Tucker Chiropractic in Gentry, if you're in, you know, Gentry, Gravette, Decatur, somewhere in there, you may want to go to Tucker Chiropractic. They did not give me a cost, but they did. I asked if it was $80 or less, and they said it was more than that, but the lady I was talking to did not know. So I'm assuming, I think you need to assume about $100. And this isn't something that you can file on insurance. So you have to just pay for it. Again, we have scholarships for that if needed. And so there's the address for that one, but Tucker Chiropractic, they're open. They've got a weird hours on Tuesday, but other than that, they're open 8 to 5:30. And they require an appointment. So if you're going to Tucker, you have to have an appointment for that. All right, so Arkansas CDL manual, I've got the link here. So your coaches can send you this Google Doc that I am working off of. And that is the full Arkansas manual. And so it has been kind of the advice that I've gotten for taking this written exam is that you need to read that manual, basically. So you can download that and start working through that in sections. And, you know, the general knowledge, start with that and then move through. And so your coaches are going to be giving you some time and space when you meet for about 15 minutes for you guys to talk through that. Now, it was advised that you do read everything, and that's a long manual, so it's going to take a little bit of time. However, it was also advised to me that once you can pass the practice tests on the app that we downloaded last week, then you can pass them at 90%, 3, 4, 5 times in a row. You should be ready to take the test. And so We're not going to read the manual together in these sessions. That's going to be you on your own, as well as some time with your coach. Next, last week's video, I'm going to drop down here to this YouTube resource. Some people had trouble finding the video that I showed last week after we got off, so I put it back into this document as well. We'll come back to that because we're going to watch a second video of his. Right now, we're going to go to a website called Trucking Truth. And Trucking Truth is a training program for CDL. And so when you get on there, and we're going to give you some time in a few minutes to get there, and I'm going to walk you through how to get to where I'm at. But first, I want to look at some of their training programs so you can determine if it's something that is well put together for you. I really liked it. If I were going for my CDL, this would be definitely, I would use my Chromebook and I would work through this program. So if you look off to the left, whenever you get to this place, and again, I'm going to teach you how to get to this place. But when you look off to the left, you have kind of a dashboard that you're working from. So for example, introduction, if you see the word permit, that means you need to know this information for your written exam, which is what we're teaching you to pass. So you have to have the information in the introduction, driving safety information, transporting cargo safely information. Down here, transporting passengers safely. This is an endorsement, and I don't think you can even take this endorsement until you're 19, so you're not going to worry about that one. Air brakes, you have to have the air brakes. You have to pass the air brakes test for your written exam. Combination vehicles, this is for Class A, which is what we are going for, and so you do need to be studying for the combination vehicles. Doubles and triples, that's an add-on that you can get if a company that you work for needs you to drive doubles and triples, then you can do that at that time. I wouldn't worry about it now. Tank vehicles, you can't drive, well, you can drive them, but you have to have this special endorsement, but you can't do the hazardous materials, which are oftentimes in tank vehicles, until you're a little bit older. And so you have to have a certain amount of experience before they'll let you take the hazardous materials endorsement. The tank vehicles, it's tricky to drive a tank vehicle. It shifts and the weight moves around. And so that's one that, you have to really watch out for and get some special training for. We're not going to worry about it on the front end. School bus endorsement, you have to be 19 in order to do school bus endorsements. We're not going to worry about that one. Vehicle inspection, that is for your permit, for your written test. So you definitely want to be studying that section. The basic vehicle controls, you want that one because it is a part of this test. And then for the permit, you want the on-the-road driving part of the test. And so that's all that we are going to worry about. So basically, it makes it super easy. If it says permit, we're going to be studying it. So let's just start with this introductory information. When you click the down arrow, it drops into the information that we have. And so if you look at the CDL requirements, we're just working through them from the beginning. So how this works is the introduction is something that you read. It kind of talks what it covers, and it's really things that you're going to read through. So again, we're not going to read to you or with you during this set of courses, but you need to go back and read this information. And it basically talks about the difference between Class A and Class B. So Class A is just a full-on big truck, right? And then Class B is more like it's a straight truck, like a concrete truck, like a Coke delivery truck, or some of the others like that, a dump truck. And Class C is a little bit smaller. They're a lot lighter, but you still have to have a CDL to drive them. And so that might be certain types of delivery trucks and so on. And so you would read this information, right? And then at the bottom, it's got these practice questions, okay? And so what it does in this program, you click you go through the practice questions, and then when you come in the next time for the next section, it'll do some review for you. It'll help you with the review. And so let's do a little bit of this. So question number 13, it shows that, and it's going to have 3 questions. If you look through, when we click next, we're going to have 3 questions that are about this section of information. And so there are 2 ways that you can do this. One, you can read it first, which is what I recommend. But you can also do, which is probably what most of you guys will do, is see if you can answer it without it. But remember this, even if you get it right, you need to read the rationale. Remember the guy last week talked about how they'll change up the questions just a little bit and it makes it sound different, but it's really the same information. So you need to understand the rationale for any of these questions. So let's look at this, for example. Any single vehicle with this is a gross vehicle weight. So this GVWR, you can Google it later, but it's the weight of the vehicle, of 26,001 or more pounds falls in which class? And so you're like, a single vehicle more than 26,100. This is me. What I'm doing is I'm going up here and I'm going, okay. So it can be, a combination of vehicles. That's a combination, Class A combination. So this is multiple vehicles combined. So it's got a trailer on it that's combined to it, but it separates off. Look at this one, Class B. Any single vehicle with the weight of 26,001 or more pounds falls into Group B. So when we go down here, we can see, that is a Class B vehicle. So I would choose that answer. You can go here and it'll look it up. It'll just tell you the information. But once you've chosen that, then you click next. Okay, next question. Any combination of vehicles with a gross combination weight, so see that there's that GCWR. So that means you have a tractor and a trailer, and the weight of them combined is more than 26,001 pound, where the gross vehicle weight being towed is more than 10,000 pounds falls into which group? And so you have a couple of options. Let's try this way. Let's just look it up. That's a Class A combination vehicle. Any combination of vehicles with a gross combination weight of 26,1, and it explains it. So we would go back, choose Class A combination vehicle, and move on. You can see how easy this is. This program I really like because it breaks down the information into the different parts of the test that you're going to need to study, the different parts of the manual that you're going to need to study. And then you can do, I'm one that I would read the information first and then answer the questions. I'm guessing you're going to be ones that would read the question, look up the answer, and then go ahead and answer and go to the next. So let's take a look. You must have a CDL to operate any single vehicle with a gross weight of 26,001 pounds or more. We already know that's Class B, so we know that's a correct answer. A combination vehicle with a gross combination of 26,001 or more pounds. We just read that in our previous question. So we know I accidentally clicked that. So you know what'll happen if you get the wrong answer. We know that that is a correct answer. And then a vehicle designed to transport 16 or more passengers. So just so you know, any vehicle, like a little, we call them a cheese wagon, one of the little buses that's 15 passenger, you do not have to have a CDL to drive that. But anything that has 16 or more, you have to have a CDL. So I re-clicked there, but you could also look up the answer and then it would give you the rationale. There is a fourth type. So the rationale became important here because the 3 answers were part of it, but then you have a little bit more rationale, which is anything that carries toxic material. Basically, it doesn't have to be that big. You have to have it to do basically carry toxic loads. So we've clicked our answer and we'll go next. All right, so we've completed that short little section, and then it jumps you back to your dashboard, and then over to the left, you've already completed the introduction. So you're ready to go on to driving safely. And so what we want to do now, I really like this. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to get this downloaded or to get into it. and to create your account. This account is free. You don't have to pay for it. I didn't even have to put in any information other than basically my email, my name. And so we're going to go let you get this downloaded, and then that can be some opportunities. You're going to have some choice in what you do the last portion of the day today. And so you can use that, or you can do videos. And so we'll tell you that. So what we're going to do right here, Trucking Truth Practice. I want you to get out your Chromebooks if you've got them. I suppose you could probably do this on your phone, but just the way that reads, I'm guessing it would work better from your Chromebook. So I'm saying Chromebook, but if you don't have yours for some reason, jump on your phone. Here is the link, but you can also just Google Trucking Truth, just Trucking Truth. So I'm going to go to an open tab and Google Trucking Truth, and we'll walk through this together. Oh, something going on. I'm on a guest computer. I'm working from Lincoln today. And so I have had some trouble. Yep, I'm not going to be able to do it that way. So we'll go back and let you guys look at this. I'm going to highlight the link that you can use. And I probably can just go back to the original. Now it goes straight to the dashboard, but there's probably a home button here. But when you get here, you're going to go up here to the top left-hand corner and see register or log in. So I'm going to go back. I've got Trucking Truth highlighted. When you get there, you're going to go to the top left and do register or log in. And then you're going to register using the information, your personal information. Here's my advice to you though. Don't use your school email. And the reason for this is when you graduate, you won't be able to access it. Most of you won't have your school email anymore. So it's time for you to start transitioning to your personal email for some things if you think it will go beyond graduation. And you could reach a point where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to go get my permit yet. So if you decide not to get your permit yet and go do that test, then you want to be able to access this later on. So jump into the chat whenever, okay. So jump into the chat and let me know whenever you've got your login completed and you're good to go. So once you're in there and you have your own login, if you look up at these tabs across the top, there are a couple of things you want to notice. CDL practice tests are just a little bit different than what we just did. It's just a practice test. It's like cold turkey. So you want to use those after you've gone through the training. Over here, the H.I.R.E.D training, that is where we were. So click on that. Once you get your registration done and you're logged in, click on H.I.R.E.D training. This is all free, doesn't cost you anything. And then notice the dashboard came up off to the left. So one more time, we're on truckingtruth.com. You're creating a login by registering using your personal email, not your school email. And then you're going to the far left, H.I.R.E.D training. And then your dashboard will come up to the left and you'll see all the things that I just showed a few minutes ago. Jump in the chat and let me know whenever you are good to go. Okay, it looks like Huntsville's good. Let me give it another, just a little bit of time. Okay. I'm going to assume, Amanda, that your kids are very close, to getting their registration. That's certainly something you can do later if someone has some sort of obstacle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the CDL session. So I really like that practice material. I hope you like it. And so we're going to kind of look at that. We're going to practice a little bit of that each week. And I'm going to give you time to practice that as well. Now, right here, I just put in a link and I'm going to let your coach can kind of go to this. That website, the Trucking Truth, has a section for each state. And so they talk about getting a commercial driver's license in Arkansas specifically. And so basically, this is stuff that we've all covered, but it might be worth going back through if you have any questions. And they have a link to the state police, the examination department, some things like that. It talks about the specific fees and then the classes in Arkansas. So Arkansas has A, B, and C, and then it has the endorsements that we talked about: hazardous materials, doubles and triples, and then tankers. And so these are add-ons that you get later. And then it talks about a little bit about the test. I'm going to let you guys look at that later. Your coach has this page. They can email it to you, and then you guys together in your small group can go over the information on that link. All right. So you've already got the H.I.R.E.D. Whenever you can scroll down to the bottom where you see H.I.R.E.D CDL training, or you can get that up at the top right where I showed you earlier, and then you register there. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move on to our YouTube resource for the day. I'm actually going to use another video from the same guy that we watched last week. So in this paper, I put last week's video. So if you guys want to watch that one, but we're going to go to this week's video. And I think I'm going to have to do, it's not letting, I am so sorry. I'm not even going to be able to do that because I'm on this guest computer. So what we can do is we'll let the coaches, if you guys want to watch that at your place, then that would be good. So let's switch it up a little bit since I'm having some technical difficulties. And so what we're going to do with the remainder of our time, coaches, if you don't mind to pull this up and use this information. And so let's take Huntsville. You may not have access to that. So what you can do is you can Google Driving Academy CDL General Knowledge Part 2. And you will find the kids will be able to tell you, bald guy will be the guy doing that. And so you'll be able to do that from there. So we're going to watch this video. And then with the remainder of the time that you have left, the students can choose to look at some other video options there on YouTube and try to find some other good resources, or to go back to the H.I.R.E.D CDL training program that we talked about today and use that and spend some time going through and practicing from the H.I.R.E.D CDL. So right now, let's just double check. Are there any questions? I'm going to give just a minute to see if you have any questions that you can put in the chat for me. And then if you have questions, I'll answer those. And then if not, I'm going to kick it to you locally where your coach can help you where you're at in your place. All right, I'm going to make the assumption that you have no questions. Got that. So we're going to go ahead and end the meeting for today. I really, really appreciate you guys coming in with us and then, spending time with us. I hope this has been valuable. So we have two things that you can do now. Your coach has the Coca-Cola add-on video. You can also find that Coca-Cola video on the H.I.R.E.D YouTube channel. So you could just click a H.I.R.E.D YouTube channel, search that, and that H.I.R.E.D is H.I.R.E.D exclamation point. If you just do the word H.I.R.E.D, sometimes it'll come up, sometimes it won't. And you look for our Coca-Cola video. And so you can do that. You can do that way. Next, just a second. Here we go. Next, you can, sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. So next, you can watch the Coke video. You can go back to the Trucking Truth and work on that section. And then you can also work through the video with the bald guy that's on there. So, all right, there we go. That's it for today. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing day.